How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Nightcap for May 17th, 2021. Out there. Oh, getting lemons. Yeah, 5 lemons. Start the lemon parade. Oh my goodness. So yeah, it's gonna have a nice casual evening. Try to keep it light. We're gonna start with a song. But it got pulled down from the internet. I'm talking about the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. Bringing in the healing. Letting the country finally come to terms with the past year by releasing a song called The Story of Georgie Part 3. They did a whole music video and they got roasted. And me, not being forward thinking enough, didn't go grab a hard copy of it while it was still available. So there you go. My bad. So if it ever comes back, we'll cover it on Nightcap. But I didn't even watch the whole thing. I only saw clips of it. Because I wanted to save it for the pure experience. The pure Nightcap experience. And just talk over it like a buffoon, like normal. Like we normally do around here. But yeah, that's not going to happen. So we have to change tact right here at the last second. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? So I got a bunch of random stuff. Didn't have a really good chance to program the show tonight. So we kind of got the little tidbits that fall through the cracks on other shows. Those are the videos we got left. We talk about some stuff. All right, so today we're going to start with, like I said, something light, get us in the mood, get us activated. Something from my strange addiction. Woman is damaging her brain by smelling petrol every 10 minutes. Oh my goodness. What a world. Gas shortages going on. It's very topical. Very topical. So we'll just go straight into it. A good time. Make sure we're good. We're good. All right. And also shout out to White Bat Audio. Carl Casey had a White Bat Audio for the background music. The man's a prince. He's a prince. So, where are we going? Buttons.
My name is Teresa. I'm 44 years old. I'm from Williamsport, Pennsylvania. And I'm addicted to smelling gasoline.
Every time we watch these, I'm always just like, man, I want to be an editor for one of these shows. I want to work in post. Think how much fun that would be to put that dramatic music behind those cuts. Shit's goofy.
When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I roll over, sit up, and smell my gas bottle. Then I'll get up, take another sniff of the gasoline, and then I'll come downstairs, and a couple minutes later, I'll take another sniff of it.
By the time I get downstairs, I don't remember what I was going to do. I heard a baby crying somewhere. I thought, oh, maybe I have a baby.
Teresa has been addicted to smelling gasoline for over 30 years. She takes a sniff
That's
every
a long
10
time.
minutes and even wakes up in the middle of the night for a fix.
I don't even know how to explain how it smells. I just love the smell of it, how it makes my nose feel inside the back of my throat.
Teresa was only 13 years old when her dad asked if she wanted to smell his gas can.
I smelled it that one time, and that was all it took.
And everything starts with a moment of innocence. Father did not know what he had awoken inside of his daughter.
Now she stashes 4 water bottles filled with gasoline throughout the house for easy access.
You never know.
No matter where I'm at, I have a bottle with me. I keep it either in my purse or in my jacket pocket. When I eat, it's sitting right there at the kitchen table in case I get that urge. Wait a minute. That might make me feel better.
I don't know. Does it give you a sense of getting high? You know, if you were to huff gas, I mean, people huff gasoline, they huff paint, they huff whatever. Hagrid says, I learned by watching you, Dad? I guess so. He was probably just like thought like, hey, this would be funny. Oh, joke's on you, buddy.
When I walk in the door, the first thing that hits me is the smell of gas. It smells like you're walking into a garage.
And now we're smelling gas while you're cooking.
And your point is, if you don't like it, go upstairs.
When Teresa doesn't have gasoline, watch out. She does get very angry.
Yeah,
What do you think it's doing to your...
Yeah, I would say that's definitely more than just the brain damage. There's definitely like an addiction to the, probably the euphoric rush, the high feeling. That's just her version of a vape, you know? She's like, oh, I gotta get right, gotta get straight.
health? What do you think it's doing to your brain? Or...
I don't know. I can't answer that. But I'm not going to sit here and have you throw it in my face when, you know...
I'm not throwing it in your face. I'm just saying, you've been saying that for years, but you're still smelling gas.
Teresa doesn't work and is supported by her boyfriend. She spends almost $400 a month on her addiction.
Why?
Frank fight over it. You know, take the last...
Why? I mean, a month? I mean, gas has got a shelf life a little longer than a month. What the hell is she doing with it? Think she waters it down and drinks it? You know she's tried it. You know she's tried it. Maybe she knew she was going to go out to the ball game or something with the family, her cousins or whatever, and she spills a little on her shirt. You know? Incognito sniffing. Oh. What? What? Oh, yeah. The game's great. Did I order a hot dog?
Couple dollars we have just to go get the gasoline can filled because I have to have my gasoline to sniff. I come to the gas station about twice a week. The more I go to the gas station, the fresher the gas is.
I've heard her talk about situations where she chose the gas over buying food or something like that. She just needs her fix.
I've had memory loss since about 1995. Because of my memory loss, I have to use, darn, see? I have to use little notes and leave them tacked up on my steering wheel of my car, even outside of my purse sometimes.
Do you think she has to leave notes to remember to bring gas with her? She's like, shit, I gotta turn around. I gotta get my little bottle of gas. Hagbard says gas evaporates pretty quickly. It does, but if you have the proper containers, you know, if she's putting it in a proper gas can, it should give more than, you know, just a little bit. I don't know, she's got to come up with a new system.
The past 6 years, I have had major stomach problems. I've had anemia problems.
To think about the gasoline could be killing her, it just makes me just want to curl up in a ball and cry somewhere because I can't get through to her. Nobody can get through to her.
I never really thought about going a day without it. I don't know if I could or not.
I mean, why bother?
Yeah.
If you're like, yeah, I got holes in my stomach, I can't remember anything, you know, and I still do it. I mean, fuck it. Just let it roll, I guess.
Needs to know that she's very loved. She needs to stop.
My girl likes to party all the time.
My understanding is that there
Gasoline.
are lots of people who are worried about you and your health. And why would that be?
I've been sniffing gasoline for about 30 years now.
For 30 years?
30 years.
Zoom in. Huh?
Every day?
Every day. I've been having a lot of short-term memory loss. It started getting bad about 1995. I was getting lost when I drive. I'd misplace things. I'd let food cook on the oven, you know, just stupid stuff like that.
You need to know from at least a medical standpoint that this is a very destructive thing. Gasoline destroys the covering to nerves and prevents the nerves from sending signals. Then not only do your organs attached to the nerves not work normally, but muscles also don't work normally. Okay. So it breaks down tissue just like a person is actually being...
Yeah, but look at the sense of accomplishment and joy on her face. You just give that up for what? Life? Bodily functions? Psh, I don't think so, buddy.
Burned by fire. And that's pretty much what's happening to you when you're sniffing gasoline.
Wow.
Wow.
When you're sniffing the gas, it's not just, you know, in your nose and in your throat. It goes through the tissue and eventually into the blood. You didn't know that?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. Every time you're doing that, you're damaging every organ. every single one.
When the doctor said that it was affecting my whole body, I just couldn't believe it was doing that. So it was very...
So she started suffering memory loss in 1995? Are we supposed to believe this is the first time she's told this to a doctor? I mean, is that the implication? Like she's never had a consultation before? She didn't know this information? You know, her daughter, a very hip, young Gen Z person maybe? A Zoomer? She's not looking this stuff up for dear old mom? Come on.
Overwhelming to hear him say that.
My guess is that your organs, including your nervous system, are much more damaged than they should be for someone your age.
Teresa won't live another 30 years of gas sniffing. Every time that she's sniffing, she might overdo it and then die. It's Russian roulette every time.
When people have lots of exposure to gasoline, it can cause damage to the nerves that are furthest away from the center part of the body. And one way we can find out if the nerve is working normally or if it's still intact, we can do a test which is called the EMG, which stands for electromyogram. So we're going to be sending a small shock through, and the goal of the shock is to tell us how long it's going to be before the information gets back. And we have standards that we can compare your nerves with
blood, man.
Those other standards and find out, is there damage to the outsides of the nerves? The shock itself is going to be no different than the shock that people get when they touch a doorknob. We're at 5. Okay, so let's go there. Okay, so here's a little zing. Ready? Okay, a little bit more. You doing okay over there? And here comes the next shock.
Power.
Okay, good.
All right, a little bit more.
This nerve we're having trouble even finding. So here's the next pinch. And one last one. Okay, well, that's a surprising response.
Well, she's physically reacting to the stimulation, you know? I mean, come on.
Good?
It's a good, surprising response.
She's beating the gasoline demon. One sniff at a time.
The test shows that your nerve looks okay. Well, this is a great sense of relief for you, I can imagine. And at the same time, it's still doing damage.
Right.
She's been tremendously lucky. 30 years of sniffing, and somehow her body's held up. But she's not going to stay lucky after 30 more years.
That's because she's eased into it. I'm sure she wasn't, you know, this big-time sniffer like she is now. She's built up a tolerance. You know, bodies are very, very malleable. They adapt.
This is a break point. Every single post-it that you put up is another reminder that this is
Getting worse.
an area of damage. So do you see a time that you're going to stop?
No, this is not going to happen overnight. I know it's going to be a process to do, and it's going to be a long recovery. Just knowing the results of the test that you just did, I know there's hope left.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think you're going to do great.
I know there's hope left. Hopefully, be sniffing more gasoline.
All this information was very overwhelming for me, but it did give me a light at the end of the tunnel, and that's all I needed. When I get home, I'm going to try and not even use the rest of that bottle tonight. I'm going to look at myself day by day. That's all I can do right now.
So all you can do, sister, just take it one step at a time, one sniff at a time. Gonna celebrate with some gas, Egbert says.
No.
Teresa did not smell petrol that evening. Teresa has cut down to just one sniff every 2 hours. Her memory continues to deteriorate. Oh, what a heartwarming story. All right. Where am I? There we are. There I am. Let's see what else we got here on the docket this evening. Like I said, it's going to be a lot of random videos. I don't have a theme. Kind of just going through kind of burn through some of these hangers on here. Yeah. All right. So this next video is called I'm Not Her Mother, I'm Her Lover. Love don't judge. Love don't judge a thing. Don't judge a thing. Alright.
You can't help who you fall in love with. This is 24-year-old Julia. She fell in love with 61-year-old Eileen.
She used to be her school librarian. They just kind of hit it off. Air Duster Lady is still my favorite episode. Yeah, actually, isn't the Air Duster Lady, though? Isn't that Intervention? That's not My Strange Addiction. There might be one on My Strange Addiction, but I remember specifically the episode of Intervention with the chick who huffed a duster.
To think that most older women wouldn't be that interested in a sex life, but I guess I was wrong.
But in a society that's quick to judge, not everyone has been accepting of their 37-year age gap.
People can leave nasty messages.
Yeah.
But what matters the most is the support of the ones we love. So now the couple are traveling across the world to seek the acceptance of Julia's mother.
Oh my gosh.
Mom is a few years younger than Eileen.
Have to, deal with that.
Sorry.
It's okay. Do you think maybe that she is actually a sugar mama? I hope they never get into the finer details of their lives. I want to know, what do they do for a living? What kind of people are there? What kind of movies do they like? What kind of music do they listen to? Paint me a rounded portrait, a well-rounded display, so I have a good sense of the types of people I'm watching so I can make value judgments. That's a joke.
My name is Julia Zelg. I'm 24. I was born in São Paulo, Brazil, but I live in London, and I'm a YouTuber.
Oh.
Hi, sweeties. Welcome back to the channel. Hi, my cuties. Hi, girls. I post a lot of different things about my life or even about fashion, literally everything I'm interested in. Have a very, very lovely day.
When 24-year-old Julia met 61-year-old Eileen, it wasn't long before sparks flew.
I'm so happy to introduce.
I wonder if it's sincere or if it's part of this kind of search for YouTube fame by provocation. If you're willing to do that, and this lady's willing to put up with it, maybe she thinks it's cool and hip, You never know with this type of thing, especially with these kinds of people. People like me and Julia Zelg. What are we doing? What are we doing on the internet?
Introduce you to my beautiful, beautiful girlfriend.
My name is Eileen de Vries. I'm 61. I work in social media and for politics.
But with such a large age gap, the couple's relationship has been met with harsh judgment.
People can leave nasty messages.
Yeah. Sugar mama, mommy issues. Are you a pedophile? She just wants a young body to lick.
Well, it's probably somewhat accurate. By her face, she's not amused. But these are pretty tame. You would think, if you're we've received a cavalcade of harassment and nasty messages, the worst one they could find was some troll in a YouTube comment section saying, "Are you a pedophile?"
Who wouldn't?
Rather than let the trolls get the better of them, Julia and Eileen are standing strong in the face of their unconventional relationship.
I'm not her mother. I'm her lover. I'm her girlfriend. I'm her partner.
This is how they're defined now, too. This is how they define themselves. She's constantly probably going to be like, "I'm not her mom." Oh, so nice of you, Julia, taking out your mom for some orange Julius at the mall. Oh, what a good daughter. It's really nice to see, really beautiful. I'm not her mother. I'm her lover. Fucking destroy that box.
Julia and Eileen are now preparing to fly to Brazil to meet Julia's mother for the very first time.
It looks so sunny there. My mom is 53. I guess some people think it's a bit weird that my mom is a few years younger than Eileen.
Brittany.
After a whirlwind romance, the couple decided to take their relationship to the next level, and Julia moved in with Eileen.
Oh, she's
And now they're a dom submissive.
here.
Where is she?
On the other side of the bed.
Oh.
This is the bedroom. Pretty much similar to how it was before I moved here, apart from the shelves, because we needed more space because it's quite a small flat. Yeah. And I happen to have a lot of shoes. We have so many things in common. The only things that are different are our ages and our probably fashion styles. I think we get hate comments mostly because of our age difference, but also because we are gay and there are unfortunately...
Do you think like the comments are just like it's an unusual thing? Most of the things they read were just kind of people puzzled. Obviously the go-to things like, you know, gold digger, etc., etc. But like it's not really out of the realm of kind of just normative behavior to see something like that and just be like, oh, that's unusual. You're going to get a lot of questions, ladies. Gonna get a lot of questions. Do you like to lick young bodies? She affirmed, yes, she does.
Fortunately, still a lot of homophobic people out there.
And misogyny. 1, 2, 3.
Ain't nobody ever had a problem with lesbians.
Mommy and grandmother. You know, and we get
nobody.
Grams. Oh yeah, we get that. Well, you know, we get that a lot. I kind of understand that this person's frame of reference is very narrow, and I feel sorry for them. But it does make me upset a little bit.
There are people who think all age gap relationships are for money, and that really annoys me a little bit because
she's a bad bitch. She's a successful Zoomer tuber. Over there giving fashion tips and calling people cuties.
We pay everything equally.
Hello, my cuties. Oh, we pay everything equally.
We'll not let any haters stop us because we just love each other.
Yeah.
And you can't stop love, you know?
Julia doesn't make me feel insecure, but I make myself feel insecure. You know, I wonder sometimes, do people wonder, you know, why she's with me? And, you know, and they can't possibly know the answer to that because they don't know. I gained weight.
Like, so, like, if there's somebody that's like an ugly old man, he's got a young thing, he's got a young girlfriend or wife or whatever, and everybody, you know, did she learn to love him? Maybe, you know? But everybody, it's pretty normal to assume, it's like, oh, what does he do? What does he do for a living? Oh, he's got money. He's rich. He's rich. You really, you know, got a couple mil in the bank. That's a lot to learn to love, you know.
Over the years, and Julia
so it's
is,
just not
is
that
quite
weird.
a beautiful woman, but you know, I delight in her beauty. I just feel slightly self-conscious, if that makes more sense.
I would.
Look at her in the suitcase.
Oh, Brittany, are you coming to Brazil with us?
One thing I know for sure is that you guys are beach-loving people and the women wear barely their bathing suits. I know that for a fact because...
She better go get a trim. You know that thing's out of control. Or maybe not. You know, she is with a young, hip person, keeping her young, up with the trends.
I have to, you know, deal with that because I won't be wearing a barely there bathing suit. I'll be wearing a one-piece. But that's okay.
You're gonna look wonderful.
Oh, thank you, darling. You're so cute. I'm so excited about going to Brazil. I'm really, really thrilled, and I was a little afraid, to be honest. I don't know if I told you that, but I was a little afraid. I'm sure I'll have some moments you know, where I'll be a little nervous.
Today, guess where we're going? Guess where we're going? Brazil!
With their suitcases packed, it's fun.
Hold on. I love this. Hold on. I love this little freeze frame here. Where is it? No.
Brazil!
Like, what is that? That's like a something. That's like a cut you would do in a serial killer doc. You know, you're watching. They're showing you like old camcorder footage of the serial killer in this Netflix special, and that would be like a cut they would do, like as if she maybe is involved in this person's disappearance.
With their suitcases packed, it's finally time for the couple to make their 12-hour journey to face their most important judge to date, Julia's mother.
We're gonna land in 5 minutes. Yay, look at the plane. Whoa, it's a huge ass plane.
I'm so thrilled to be getting off in Brazil.
Oh my god.
Into the arms of your mommy.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, eu fico muito ansiosa, né, quando eu estou aguardando no aeroporto. Já a Júlia sozinha, né, vindo com uma pessoa diferente, ainda conhecendo, eu tava com uma expectativa.
Like, so they haven't even talked over FaceTime or anything? It is current year, guys. You don't have to blindside this woman. Going to bring my girlfriend. Oh, can't wait to meet her. Where is she? Is this her mom? No, it's her grandmother. And then the cycle of bigotry and narrow-mindedness just begins again.
Expectativa bem grande, né?
I'm her lover, goddammit.
Now we're just gonna get our cases and then we're gonna meet my mom.
Uh-oh. I like that they dropped out all the sound. It's like this creepy atmospheric stuff. What's up, Gunsmoke? I like that. This was a good choice. This was a good choice in the editing bay and post. Really bring up the tension.
I'm sure they're
She's crying. Because she's dating an old woman.
So this is Eileen and my mom like meeting for the first time. First impressions of each other. Lovely. Very good.
What the fuck? You fucking psycho. This chick is a psycho. That was a revelatory moment. You know, you could blink and miss it. It's very subtle. But this is like a content thing. It's like kind of insincere. And then to put them on the spot like that. Not a good person. I'm just guessing. You know, I don't know her from Adam, but... Or Eve, rather. Sorry. Just got my old gals. Oh, it's one of those street dogs. Oh, so heartwarming.
Eu não imaginava que a Júlia fosse ter uma namorada tão mais velha. Mas para mim não tem problema nenhum.
Not a problem. Not a fucking problem.
From the countryside. There's this state called Minas, where my auntie lives.
Right.
Eu gostei muito de conhecer a Eileen.
I really enjoyed her. I am already
Estou acostumada com a ideia e ela estando feliz para mim é o que importa.
My mom just met her and
that's very forward thinking. I don't know, maybe are they pretty... I don't know what it's like over in Brazil, honestly. I honestly don't know.
she absolutely adores her. Everybody's very supportive and they know that Eileen makes me so happy. So that's all that matters and that's what they want. They just want my happiness. Feliz de conhecer a Eileen? Sim, muito feliz. É? So very happy to meet you.
Very, very happy to meet you.
Okay, a gente vai falar 1, 2, 3 aí. Hi, sweetie. Aí.
What is she doing? What is she doing?
With such enthusiasm, we're gonna start. Hi, sweeties!
Did your mom and Eileen become good friends?
Yes, I adore her mother, and I knew that I would. She's every bit as wonderful as Julia.
Eu sinto que a Júlia e a Eileen estão muito felizes e com isso eu fico feliz
That
também.
makes me
Então
happy
nada,
too, that they're
nada
so
mais
happy
importa.
together.
Oh. Acabou? Finish? No.
Yeah, no, I'm sure her mom loves this scene in her backyard pool. I'm sure she loves it. She's like, no, this is not strange at all. Of course not. As soon as these ladies left, you know, she was just like, Hagbard says, this is the old woman who operates my daughter like a hand puppet. Exactly. So happy for her.
I used to think that most older women...
Let's get some casual B-roll, guys. How about you hop in the shower, maybe?
...wouldn't be very sexually active or wouldn't be that interested in sex life, but I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, because you've reinvigorated her. She has her libido back. Stella got a groove back. They're the younger person, filling her with life. Now, this will probably last about 2 years before you become just like every other lover in her life, and she looks at your box as old. So enjoy it while you can, Julie. Enjoy it while you can.
I don't have any problems with that.
Julie and I have an extraordinarily good sex life. I mean, I've never been with anybody as exciting as her and fun as hell.
I know things have moved quite fast with us, but, you know, sometimes that's just the way it is.
This just feels right. We're together because we love each other. As Julia very beautifully said once, we couldn't not be together, you know?
Sometimes we...
Man, you know, I wish there was a follow-up to this, because you know there's not going to be. Although I suppose we could find her on YouTube. Oh.
We do
Lesbian
worry
bed
about
death,
the
it's a
future,
thing,
but Eileen most likely won't live as long as me, and sorry, and it just really breaks my heart to think.
She's already dead to her. She's like, you're gonna die tomorrow, lady. In Julia Zelg years, you're gonna die tomorrow.
That we can't grow old together, but
Julia
I
can
love
get
you so
kind of
much,
old.
and I want to be with you for as long as we can.
That's beautiful. That's the first time Julie's ever been able to really say it.
Sorry.
I mean, we've talked about it, of
He's
course.
like, because of her English, you know, it's the second language. It's the second language, you know.
But it's a very hard thing to talk about. You know, I mean, I thought long and hard, should I not get in this relationship? Do I have a responsibility to turn around and say no, because there is such a big age difference?
Yeah.
Or does one just grab love?
It really doesn't matter to me. Even in the future, when you get older, if we cannot be that couple that is always like going out and traveling, I don't care as long as I'm with you.
You're gonna become a Wheel of Fortune Jeopardy couple. I think that's what's gonna happen. TV dinners. She's gonna be like an invalid in a hospital bed. She's gonna be collecting the money as a caretaker, and she's gonna be going out with her friends, partying, having other girls lick her asshole. I looked into my crystal ball, my Yeti snowball crystal ball, and I am sensing tragedy, or this fizzles out in a year, which we're gonna try to find out. We're gonna try to follow up.
I really love you.
I really love you too. I love you so much.
Oh no, we got another old people one. I'm 24 and my husband is 69. All right, I'm gonna put this on. We're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna look for that girl's YouTube thing while this is on, though.
I think a lot of people don't understand that age gap relationships can be genuine.
I love you.
The majority seem to assume that there's gotta be something else going on. You love somebody because you love them. Guinness?
Oh, that would be a nice change.
Right?
You might.
Yeah, if I do, like we were talking about.
Yeah. I'm Don Walper, age 69.
And I'm Stephanie Walper, and I'm 24.
I'll hold the door for you.
I mean, see, this is why girls like older men. Gentlemen. You know, if this was some punk kid, he probably wouldn't do that. He'd probably go in first.
We've been together for just over 4 years, married since August, and there's 45 years between us.
45 good years, yeah.
Were they good years? I don't know, I wasn't there.
See, he's just like smirking. He's like, you don't even know what I've done, lady. Women have loved me and I have loved them, and then I was ready for you.
That's right, you weren't.
So she was 20 and he was 65 when they first got together. I'm curious.
Guinness, good old Guinness.
Stop walking so fast. You can't keep up.
Cheers, Missy.
Cheers, baby.
This is like a
Throwback.
family reunion.
Mm-hmm. Before I met Dawn, I was living on my own. I kept getting a job, quitting jobs. Finally, I settled on a job at a pub, and I met you. Dawn used to come in when he was off work every day, pretty much every day, and have beers and relax and whatever.
Stephanie appeared one day when I was there. Like most of the guys probably, oh, got a new gal today.
Is this, he sounds Canadian. They sound Canadian. I might have missed it. I was looking for the next video. Sounds Canadian. I saw the Labatt Blue thing in the bar.
So we started getting curious and
these Canucks
talking
out of
and
control,
flirting and different things like that, and it just kind of steadily progressed.
We sat.
He's like, oh yeah, my granddaughter loves SpongeBob too. Oh, iCarly, I know it well. Watched it many a time with my grandchildren.
Over here, we
British
were on the
Columbia.
dance
All
floor.
right. Thank you,
Like we
Hagrid.
were everywhere.
We partied down till 2:30 in the morning, and then
He stayed the night at my house.
we got in a cab and went to her house.
I was surprised.
Hold on. What a great... Hold on.
In a cab and went to her
Hold on.
house.
I was surprised.
There's a guy, he's like, good guy Ryan. He's just like hanging out. He's like, you know, these girls are young. It's their first job. Not going to be a skis. Not going to skis on them. A fucking 69-year-old dude comes creeping in, takes the 20-year-old girl home. He's like, God damn it.
I personally don't have a problem with it, but I do see people giving them looks.
I'm so bad.
The best thing?
For me, it's the sex.
It's been crazy, crazy.
Another young person reinvigorating the older person. It's like maybe there's something to this whole getting blood transfusion thing, but yeah, dude, that guy's like, you know, when was the last time you think he was with a 24-year-old girl? He's fucking ripping it up. He's tearing that shit apart. He's loving it. Every goddamn second. And he's closer to death, too. It makes it even more important. More intense. More powerful. Oh, yeah. He's
2
like, give me
a.m.,
that
5 a.m., middle of
fucking
the
cheeseburger.
afternoon, before dinner, after dinner, in the
rooftop.
middle of dinner,
And up on the rooftop.
on the rooftop,
Yeah.
on the balcony, on the floor, wherever, right? It doesn't last 2 seconds. He knows what he's doing. It's always different. We've done a lot of different stuff.
He's teaching her the ways, bringing her forward. Their relationship is sponsored by Pfizer. That's great. That's a good one, Hagbird.
That one's cute. These two are my favorite. He proposed to me. We tried for a baby. 3 weeks later, I had a positive test. And there's Lachlan pulling my hair out. Now in 2019, he just turned 1 at the end of January.
Yeah, that's Mommy's baby. Yeah, I caught you. Look at all the snow out there. Oh.
His dad's going to be dead by the time he's 12 years old. That sucks.
Holy.
He's amazing. He's literally the best thing in the whole world.
Build you a playhouse, a tree house. Yeah, baby, I got you. Mommy got you.
Don't do that. Let's, okay.
Here's a blankie.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get wild now? No. Here we go.
Whoops.
That happened to me yesterday.
When bag falls out.
Yeah.
I have one boy from...
They have so much in common. They just got so much in common, you know? They both drop the romaine. Surreal Paradox says, more like sponsored by daddy issues.
previous marriage. He would now be 24, roughly. Yeah. He actually went to school with Stephanie.
We were laying in bed one day, just in the middle of the afternoon talking. Dawn tells me this story. And then I was like, wait, what's his name? And he repeats it. I was like, oh my God, like I know him. You're so-and-so's dad. Like I went to school with this kid.
She knew my son before she knew me, which is
I didn't know.
a little strange.
And you guys look so much alike. So I was like, how did I not catch on to that? I don't know, but. Dawn and Lachlan have an amazing connection, an amazing relationship, and watching him.
Does he have, see, I would like to know, does he have like prior marriages? Does he have other children? You know, this guy's out there just, he's like doing it Fight Club style, out there setting up franchises.
Him be a father is so beautiful.
And the shoe likes the socks. And the cat drinks the milk. Being my age, I'm not worried about being around later. I mean, obviously would like to, but you know, Mother Nature plays a role in it, and I'm just going to take it as far as I can. After that, I guess he can push me around in my wheelchair. We're trying to make him as smart as we can. He might support us financially. Who knows? Alberta.
He's got a little set in the nursery for his YouTube channel. It's like, who knows? They're gonna be these unboxing videos very popular down in the lower 50.
Saskatchewan.
Oh.
Manitoba.
Lower
Quebec.
48.
That's the big one. Newfoundland, Labrador.
I take a lot of pictures, and Lachlan's gonna know that his dad loved him and would be proud of him.
Hagbert says between his age and the baby, this dovetails into last week's diaper episode. There you go. See? You know, we don't plan these things, but it's like symmetry, you know? Things just, it's like poetry. Things just rhyme.
Dawn,
Hubby
hi.
and baby.
How you doing? So now what?
All right, so I think you want to test drive it?
Well, I guess, yeah.
Well, everyone thinks I'm a gold digger. Where is the gold?
Yeah, that's full.
Well, you did just walk into a car dealership, young woman.
Find it.
Where's the gold?
We're looking for the gold.
Give me the gold, babe. So we're selling our Dodge. The guy sent us a deposit to show that he's serious last night, actually. People insult me more than they insult Dawn because I'm the gold digger. I'm the one with daddy issues. I'm the one who can't support myself. I need a man to save me. I prefer leather, but cloth is fine.
Listen, you know, people say shit like that, but if you're in this person's shoes and somebody's like, I'm going to take care of you, and you like them, and they like you, say this is legit. Maybe it is some sort of weird daddy issue thing. I don't know. But can you really fault the person for that? I don't know. I don't think so. Surreal Paradox says, I see the kind of woman she is by her eyes and an overall way of carrying herself. Sure. Yeah, she seems like I would say this is young and naive. I don't know if there's anything nefarious specifically, you know?
I'm not snobby.
I've never worried about my age ever. I mean,
No.
it's just a number.
I thought you were 50 when I met you.
I keep living the same anyway, so.
Surreal Paradoxes, it almost always is. There's got to be a basis for the old and young attraction. Well, I think it's about being taken care of. People like to feel security. And if you're like a young woman, you know, a lot of times, an older man who's established, he has a house, he's got a job, he's got a good car, this guy's got his retirement maybe, that tends to factor into what you're looking for in a relationship or what you're hoping to get out of one, I suppose, depending where you're at in your life.
I feel like I have a man. I feel like I have a stable relationship. I have somebody that I can trust.
Is that a keeper?
Yeah. That was pretty good.
As long as the mind is active, the body will keep following it.
So Surreal Paradox follows up, Sharon, even more so when you have daddy issues, feeling protected could be the basis of attraction. Sure, I think that's probably something. I think that seems like it would make sense, right? It would track, as they say. So from here, we're gonna go backtrack a little bit. So I found that girl Julia Zelg, her YouTube channel, because I wanted to see if that lesbian couple, the summer and the winter couple, was still together, and we're gonna find out right now. We're gonna look into it. Let me stop saying daddy issues, more issues from childhood to parent, etc. But alas, no, I agree with you. I think that's clearly like factors into those things, right? It's from kind of our informative years and what we took away from them. But let's see. So they are still together. They are still doing TV appearances as well. So we'll go look at a light video. This is a shorter one. And then there's also a video of their wedding. They got married. So we might check that out as well. Let's see here. Going back to my wife. Okay. So did these... My wife tested me, see if I really know her. Going back, that's too long. Alright, let's try this one. Start here. See where it goes from there. There we go. Hello. There we go.
Hi sweeties, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Julia and this is my wife Eileen. In today's video,
so they got married a year ago. That's what I found out in the background of that other video. They got married a year ago. Pink hair, don't care. And apparently they're still together. I saw some other stuff. Yeah, exactly, Surreal. The mommy issue side of it, yeah. Which I think this person, I don't know. I mean, they're married. They got married. They're still together. They're making videos as we're watching right now. And this was posted 3 weeks ago. So they're still at it.
I'll be showing you some of our night routine. We have done videos like this before, but we feel that after I came back from spending a few months with my family in Brazil, our routine has changed a little bit, so I thought it would be fun to do an update. But before we start, please subscribe and activate the notifications so you know whenever I post a new video. You can also join my Patreon for one extra video a week and follow me on...
She has 288,000 subscribers. She was on national television. You think that would net you at least $500,000? At least $500,000. television is truly dying. Surreal says, nah, just know the relationship isn't what it seems. I don't know. It was like, we watched this like little clip before from, they were on, one of those TLC shows or whatever. And this is her YouTube channel. So this is her product. And I haven't seen anything in just these kind of brief moments, like what kind of person this is, or kind of what it looks. They're very into YouTubing, and there's a little bit of a narcissistic drive because of that. So there's something about this relationship that could be born out of the need for provocation, for views, for clicks. Maybe that seems like that would be an extreme to some people. Like I'm being uncharitable, maybe, but I don't know. It's a possibility. Surreal Paradox says it takes a certain kind of personality to be on YouTube and TV. I agree.
Instagram for amazing photos that are totally gonna change your life. And please give us a thumbs up because it really helps the channel. As most of you know, YouTube is now my full-time job, so I usually film, edit, do some boring admin stuff, and take photos during the day.
Gunsmoke's calling a hoax.
So when I'm done with work, I tidy up the living room straight away because we live in a very small space and we wouldn't be able to walk around the apartment if my filming equipment was in the middle of the living room.
Surreal says, you ever heard of Chrissy and Dom? I think it was a lesbian channel who had a kid. Well, turned out to be toxic behind the scenes. Yeah, I mean, obviously what you're seeing on a YouTube channel is not representative of what's going on in somebody's real life, right? But that's often, you often hear that about lesbian couples. And I'm not trying to be broad or be unfair, uncharitable, but there's a lot of domestic abuse that goes on, a lot of weird stuff like that. So, but Chrissy and Dom. Okay, I'll put it on the docket.
Then, when I'm done, I get into comfortable house clothes or pajamas. After that, I usually warm up some food for me and Eileen. I cook once every couple of weeks and just freeze the food so I can just microwave it and not have to worry about actually cooking every day. Tonight we are watching RuPaul's Drag Race latest episode, which is really exciting, while eating some Brazilian-style rice and beans. Our dog Beverly always tries to jump up and interact with us while we're eating, which is really, really cute, but I swear we never give her human food, although it's tempting.
Okay.
Sometimes after dinner.
So Surreal follows up. Their videos have been re-uploaded, I think, but yeah, people's lives become their business. Never ends well. No, it doesn't, because if an integral part of your relationship is like the content that you create, that is not a tenable situation, And it also doesn't encourage you to be healthy either, because of the expose nature of a lot of vlog channels about how they go about their business, where they just kind of spill all the tea for everything that goes on in their personal lives and how they feel. And then they start interacting with their audience who's watching it like a soap opera, reading the comments. And I'm sure that's like kind of an awful cycle. Like I can't imagine that going well at all. I just can't.
Dinner, I make us drinks like this beautiful pink G&T so we can relax and just watch some TV together. But this is not really an everyday thing though, unfortunately. But we did feel like having a drink tonight.
Cheers, squeakers!
After dinner, I start my skincare and shower routine. First, I remove most of my makeup with just water and this pink cloth, which is quite eco-friendly because you can just wash it so it's reusable and less wasteful.
really does, Hagbard, yes.
Then I wash.
This really does look like it should be on a $1 Million Extreme episode, yeah. Like it's a sketch. It's kind of like how I felt like I played over on our YouTube channel, which you can find the links in the description. I played Cuckold Simulator, and the entire time I was like, which is a in development video game, and the whole thing is like meme based, and it felt so $1 Million Extreme because I had just deep dived on it to talk about it with a friend of mine, and yeah, it's kind of crazy the influence they have on the subtext of the internet, basically.
My face with this wonderful face cleanser by Mix Easy. Mix Easy is today's sponsor, and I really love.
Okay, lady, you're getting the fucking axe. I can't watch this anymore. So they're together. They got married. I don't know. That's the follow-up to that. Sorry it wasn't more exciting. Sorry there was nothing juicy there. So we're gonna keep on a track here. What do we got? What do we got next? What do I got up here? Raising kids with no gender. And this is a newer video, I think, or at least from the last year or so. A progressive mommy. Looks like Rachel Maddow. Got Rachel Maddow in the house. All right. Here we go.
This is Ari, Gwendolyn, and Brynnifer. They are in a polyamorous relationship, and they all parent Hazel and Sparrow.
We have a 2-year-old antigender baby and a...
So we have a... Hold on. Hold on a sec. So we got a Rachel Maddow and then 2 trans women, it looks like? Is that what's going on here? Right? Right?
We have a 2-year-old antigender baby and a 10-year-old who is non-binary.
They have chosen not to disclose Sparrow's gender.
We don't know it yet. It's something that Sparrow's gonna have to figure out and then tell us.
Well, then what do you, like... Hold on, let's see.
But their parenting approach is controversial.
Yeah, see, this is very new. Masks. That's how we're going to be able to know when, like, something is, like, post-COVID. We're going to know the COVID era stuff because everybody's going to be wearing a fucking mask. Oh, Gry16 Devlati just followed. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I do appreciate that.
I have literally received death threats. Crazy, crazy lady. I hope karma hits you back and your kids grow up to detest you.
That's not a death threat. I mean, it's a nasty thing to say. It's like, but it's just an opinion. I hope your kids grow up to resent you. You know, that's not a death threat. Like they say the things, they say words like it's a death threat or something, and then they pull up the most banal stuff. You know? The most banal bullshit. I hope your kids don't like you. Like, that's pretty whatever, you know? Surreal says, there won't be a post-COVID world, I believe, due to what I know currently, but that's another topic. Okay. Hey, man. If you, Gry16's losing his fucking mind. Yeah, if you got something interesting and, like, any videos or whatever, you can find me on Twitter at Sean Zubox. Hit me up in my DMs. They are open. And I'd be happy to take a look at it.
These polyamorous parents let their children choose their gender. And for their oldest child, Hazel, that's neither male nor female.
Please tell us how...
Now, Hazel's 10 years old. So their entire life is built around kind of... Gry, I'm going to have to fucking ban you if you don't chill. Don't make me do that. I don't want to do that. 10 years old, so their entire life is like built around this idea of being of what you are, what you're picking your sexuality. Like, that's got to be a constant, or not your sexuality, but your identification. Like, that's got to be like a constant thing. A constant thing. You know? Here, I'll time you out. It's got to be a constant thing. So it just becomes the focus of their lives, you know?
Why you decided to come out as non-binary?
Because the pronouns she and he did not fit. Non-binary was what...
Oh, can somebody ask her follow-up question? Why does it not fit? What about it does not fit, please? Have her articulate it for you.
I turn to. Though I do choose to act and look more feminine. Can I go down now? Of course.
And 2.5-year-old Sparrow has yet to make a choice about their gender.
Sparrow, do you want a banana?
They're anti-gender, but we're using they, them pronouns. Sure, they have anatomy, we understand it, but like that's not indicative.
Surreal says they're doing the similar thing people who raise hetero male or female kids do. They present you with ideas, etc. Yeah, because about, you know, the things that they buy them, color of clothes, you know, all that kind of social conditioning stuff, for sure. But also there's lots of studies, there's lots of things that have been done that show that children naturally gravitate towards certain kind of behaviors, activities, etc., usually corresponding with their sex. So it isn't like, I don't know, there was a couple episodes ago, it was a couple episodes ago, Hagbard reminded me of this doctor that did like this experiment on these kids. Like they during a circumcision, there was like a botched circumcision. One of the kids gets their penis cut off, and the parents try to raise that kid as a girl. And by the time they're a teenager and they hit puberty, even though they're going through all the processes, they completely rejected it. You know, the science is still out on this stuff, and like when people are, especially when it comes to children, like I don't understand why. Just if you truly meant to just let them figure it out, I suppose that's naturally going to happen. I don't know how you do that, honestly. Like, you're going to have to, because it's not a completely sterile environment or anything. I don't know. I mean, we all condition children, you know. Being a parent of a young kid, I really do understand that, especially now I understand that more than ever. Like, they pick up so much from you. So much of what you say matters. So much what you do matters. The way you hold yourself, your physicality, everything, your tone of voice. It all matters. It all matters. Surreal Paradise, sure, but the idea of blue and pink being for males and females respectively comes from society, environment. It isn't dictated by nature. No, 100%. Yeah, that's just a social construct, right? 100%. Like the identifiers. The classical identifiers that we have as a culture, that we've developed as a culture, is kind of meaningless in a certain respect. But I don't know, but it doesn't really matter, I guess. We'll see what they say.
It's something that Sparrow's going to have to figure out and then tell us before we can handle anyone.
Yeah, but these people, I mean, this is the thing that confuses me about growing up in this environment and suggesting that we're like not presenting anything that would lead somebody to a conclusion. Because you have clearly here, it is a man in a dress. I don't know if this is a trans person or they're a transvestite. I don't know. I have no idea. But like, this is not an environment that is like some sort of neutral start point. Like, they have their own ideas. It's in their home. It's in their lifestyle. That's what everybody does, you know? Maybe boys feel the need to run more while girls are more naturally calm, but that's why I believe most males and females living now are completely a product of society and less about nature. Well, a lot of it is derived from nature. History and life and the life of existence in general, that's a long trajectory, right? So if we think about just like 150 years ago, like kind of formal gender roles and what functions people had in society were actually important. They were important to how society progressed and how we survived. It was just a matter of survival. Now we live in a time where we live in such an opulent time and such a time where, what a man and a woman can do, like that's kind of been flattened out a little bit, right? It's not the same as it was 150 years ago, but we still haven't moved past it yet completely in terms of identifiers, because it was a mode of survival, and that's a hard thing to get away from. On a long enough timeline, it probably happens. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, you know? We don't know. That's I guess the point is, like, we don't know how this will actually affect society at large or the happiness of society. Like, you know, culture and all the things we've done, like, we've bled and sweat and died and suffered for these things. And we were very casual about letting go of them and throwing them away without really understanding the implications. And a lot of times it has to do with impulsive behavior and impulsive emotional feelings about, like, these reactions we have because we feel different. You know, like the idea that, like, if you feel like you're a different person and you need everybody to accept you, like, it comes from such a place of deep insecurity, which is understandable as well. Like, I don't discount that it's understandable that a person will feel that way. But we are taking something from the from the uniqueness of people that aren't kind of heterodox, right? That don't conform. They're always going to be the outliers, always. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's a perfectly natural, normal thing. And it's okay that it's quote unquote abnormal. Like, you know, people hear the word abnormal and they think, oh my God, that's like a pejorative, right? But it's not. It's not. It's just a term. Cyril says, I don't believe agender, transgender, etc. families is the way to go. People should look into whatever issues they may have before deciding to. Sure.
Anyone else?
Particularly because it's, you know, something that our parents did and they got it wrong.
But giving Sparrow the choice has proved controversial.
Online, there's a lot of angry people. I have literally received death threats. The worst is people who threaten my children.
Yeah.
But I'm the person who's disturbed. What you are doing is absolutely horrifying. I feel for your kids. They should never be put through something like that. What you're thinking is so effed up.
Okay, so but why? Where's the death threats? Like, where? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like you could say if they were these people, you may have a negative emotional reaction to that. You may be like, oh, that's mean. But at the same time, why do you care? Like, this is the kind of shit. It's become like status enabling. It's become a status symbol. If you're somebody that's like a non-normative lifestyle and people don't understand immediately or right away, like, oh, then you're making yourself out to be a victim of a culture. It's okay to be different, you know?
It's actually scary. Crazy, crazy lady. I hope karma hits you back and your kids grow up to detest you. A lot of people, they say, how will your children know what a boy or a girl are if you don't teach them?
Yeah. Or how will they know how to act?
There's a lot of assumption that we're raising them without a gender and we're not giving them any information as to what gender is, when that's just not the case.
It's funny because one of the main complaints that people say is children are too young to know their gender. That's why they have to be told what their gender is. And we're like, well, I think we agree on the source information. We agree children don't know yet, but how we respond to that fact is very, very different.
Oh, the other one anyway, gosh.
The parents educate their children differently from regular public schools.
Hazel schools themselves. Hazel is very led in what they do. I basically just try to keep up with them.
So typically, how many hours of study a day do the kids do?
Honestly, probably not more than 1 or 2 where we're at a table doing what looks like typical academics. The rest of the time, it's a lot more natural, fun learning.
Which is fine, honestly. If you can do it and your kids are hitting their benchmarks, I guess.
We don't force them to homeschool. We did it because at the time that's what they wanted, and we're always going to be following their lead on that. Before COVID-19 lockdown, Hazel and I had started talking about them integrating back into public school. And once lockdown is over, if that's what they want to continue to do, then we will 100% support them.
They may be different, but the family's biggest challenges are the ones that all parents face.
Now don't jump while you're drinking, you'll knock your teeth out.
I would say the biggest challenges that we face are the challenges that any family faces that really often have nothing to do with gender. Just regular raising toddler kind of problems. I think a lot of parents worry about ingraining that kind of gender performance very early, and for us it's a topic that just doesn't come up. Gender is a personal identity. Basically almost everyone on this planet are assigned a gender when we're young, and for most people that identity assignment works well enough and they find how to make it their own. For those of us who are transgender, that assignment, it was too radically different from what we felt we needed to.
So this is the issue, right? Okay, so these people, the parents, they say they're all transgender, okay? But they just said most people, like 99.9 or 99.7% of people, are fine with that. They conform. It's not even like conforming. It is just, we have developed as a culture, as society, as people, like this is kind of the normative behavior, and this is why we kind of raise kids in a certain way. But because of their life, because of what happened to them, they just assume, oh, well, then I should do that for my child as well, even though statistically that kid is probably going to conform to their birth sex and gender. I don't know. Seems a little self-refuting there, Rachel.
When we're young, and for most people, that identity assignment works well enough and they find how to make it their own. For those of us who are transgender, that assignment, it was too radically different from what we felt we needed to express ourselves. And that definitely has influenced my views and opinions about gender. At the end of the day, what I think it is something that people get to decide on what it means to them, what it is, and how they express it.
My extraordinary families. Okay. All right. Well, let's see if we can find maybe a follow-up video with these people. I feel like that's probably a thing. I know there was when I found it. There were other videos. Raising our kids with no gender. We're going to look to see if we can find any other follow-up videos with these people, and then we'll move on from there. Okay, here's another one. We're raising our child as gender fluid. Okay. Thematically similar. Surreal says, so it's about expression. What personality are they expressing? Is it one that is made up of deep issues? Important questions no one asks. Well, yeah, of course, because we're all affected in that way, you know? Because it's all about being yourself instead of change yourself or fix yourself. I think there is a legitimacy to the concept of, like, you know, you could be born like a damaged person. You could have chemical imbalances, etc., etc. And if you don't ever learn how to cope with those things or get the proper help, especially when you're younger, or when you're a young adult, or when you're having these problems, these thoughts, then you could end up in a negative place, you know, and be confused. So we're going to check this out. We're raising our child as gender fluid. My trans life. See what they got to say. So I know that family specifically was on like a UK morning show. Thrill says, sure, but the environment parenting is the main source of issues. Well, how do you get around that? I mean, everything that you do, if you have a kid, you bring them into the world, you bring them into the context of your life, your existence. A lot of people have kids that shouldn't have kids. I'd say that. There's a lot of environments that are poor, that are bad. Not poor economically, but just bad places to grow up. You know? That's why I waited. My wife and I, we waited. We waited to have kids. Because we were kind of aware of that. And we wanted to make sure we were going to be able to provide at least a modicum of the life we thought a kid deserves. It was very important to us. But anyways, just because we're super cool. So we'll see what it says here. Check these people out.
My father is transgender, so That's what's really special about him. My mother, I'm happy that she gets to be happy, so it's super special for her.
They use the voice of a child like a weapon, immediately activating those empathy centers deep inside your lizard brain.
Well, transgender means you come out as a little girl or a little boy, and then they started, hey, I don't feel like I'm a girl at
What a vicious bigot.
all. So they come out as a girl and then are raised as a boy, or come out as a boy and raised as a girl. And non-binary means that you don't believe that you're really a girl, but you don't believe you're a boy.
I came out as trans when I was 26 years old. So essentially I lived a full adulthood being a woman prior. I was married before in a lesbian relationship that essentially dissolved because of my transition.
I identify as being really just in the gray area, I guess. I feel masculine, I feel feminine. I like boy clothes, I like girl clothes. I'm not a boy.
A non-binary? Come on, lady, get with the nomenclature. You're on television.
Or a girl. I was previously married with Claire's biological father. We separated in 2015. Claire and I were on our own pretty much up until we met Emerson.
Thank you for this follow. It was a Susa.
1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. I never thought that I would ever be seen as like a father figure to anybody, but obviously that was a dream of mine. Oh, I got you.
Hey, surreal.
Let me see.
Solidarity.
Now get on your face. I remember the first time she ever called me daddy. I was putting her to bed. I was like, hey, if you need me or something, just like call for me and I'll be there. So one small guy, one big guy.
You there.
It's me and it's you.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, I'll just yell out, Daddy, really loud, and you'll come running. And I was like, remember I was like, my heart like dropped. So for sexuality and gender, essentially everything in our house is fluid. Fluid meaning that anyone can like anyone, and we encourage her to be open to any type of relationship, whether it be with male identifying, female, queer, bi, whatever.
I think it's important to speak to children about these aspects.
You know, there's something about being a parent where you have like a vicarious thing that goes on. And I don't know if that's like, it's something almost like it feels like you're compelled to do, like it's out of your control. And I wonder if they have that kind of similar thing. Like when you have people like this that are raising a child, do they not like kind of project like their wants and their desires onto their kid a little bit, right? So in the context of people that like this trans man, I wonder if that's part of like the way they think, that because you think about your own life and the things that have made you happy and comfortable, etc., and you want that for your kid, except you just want it more. So if the main kind of sticking point of the part of the core of your identity was this experience, would you think about your kid in that way? And would you be hypersensitive, almost too sensitive, and like overcorrect? Like if you feel like something is, oh, what, you don't feel comfortable today? You don't like know what's going on? Oh, maybe this is what's going on. And that's the problem with kids as well. They're so impressionable, so malleable to your own thoughts and ideas. Like it's something I have to guard against all the time as a dad, all the time. Like I don't want to infect my kid with my cynicism. At least not this young. Yeah, when he's a teenager, you got to go and like have the real talks, the dad talks, like maybe then. But like as a child, you kind of want them to be free and innocent and experience things. And when I think about the things that I project onto my kid, it's pretty normative stuff. Like when I say project, the things I want for them. So I'm just wondering if that ever causes like kind of the wires to cross, I suppose, in terms of like what you want for your child if you're like a trans person. I don't know.
For example, both of us were put into a box as a girl from birth, and we have these expectations that are thrown at us. And I think that boys and girls both have these expectations that society...
Surreal says, yes, again, having a similar effect like a normal family, it can be a lot of projecting, etc. So are they really making their own decisions? Yeah, I think so. I think there comes a point where it doesn't really matter what somebody has said to you. Like there is nature and there is nurture. Like it's a balancing act of those things. And I think once like somebody becomes kind of self-aware and has a sense of confidence, I guess as a parent, that's kind of what you want your kid to have. So you're trying to raise them to be like confident, capable, smart people, you know? Thrill also says, when they grow up to be trans, was it who they are? Or was it because of parenting? I don't know. I don't think we have the data on that because this has not been some sort of thing that's been happening for a very long period of time. So we don't even know. We don't even know. I guess that's the reality of it. That's why I always get really uncomfortable. I get really uncomfortable when it comes to things like dealing with children and when it comes to trans stuff like puberty blockers, etc. Like those things I find odd. I find anytime somebody's trying to go after kids, I don't necessarily vibe with that. And there's no real good hard science to suggest that we should be doing that, but you know. More questions that will be answered and no answers now, obviously. Yeah, no, I agree.
Places on them, and like you said, they are disruptive, and I think that you're unable to truly find yourself within those boxes for a lot of people.
What's kind of different about me that sometimes kids don't do is about my clothing and my hair. I wear like boy clothes or I wear girl clothes, or sometimes I...
Now this would be seems like a very precocious, very smart kid, right? We've just heard her speak a little bit. Excellent grammar. Excellent ability to express herself, to articulate herself. But where do these ideas come from about the kind of clothes that she wears? Like, somebody had to say that to her. I don't know if you are going to be self-aware enough at 5 or 6, like this little girl is, to understand like those social dynamics or care, unless it's brought to your attention. If somebody tells you it's brought to your attention, or you're told you're supposed to care about it. Oh, hey, when you go to school, you may notice, people don't dress gender neutral like you. That, and that's the kind of shit that I don't like. That's the kind of shit I would never do to my own kid. I would never do that. But I don't know.
I wear like a girl shirt or boy pants. So I made a picture. It says a boy self right here, girl self right here. So I said boy, girl, girls.
I mean, this is 100% environment that brings this out of a person. That's 100% environment. Sorry. This is a preoccupation for this little kid. It's a preoccupation. It's thinking about these things and trying to express these things. Thrill says, yes, exactly. So they say the kids are doing things because they choose to, without acknowledging that they do those things because the parents made them aware of it. Of course. And now, is it okay or is it good to make kids aware of certain things? I think it is. In terms of just like, upward mobility, trying to make them confident, successful, etc. We don't know if this is a healthy preoccupation. Distilling yourself down to these kind of immutable base characteristics is probably not a healthy thing for a developing mind. Because this will always be the highest ethic. This will always be the highest value. And then what happens if they never develop an answer? You know, there's always going to be this turmoil inside of them that they can't reconcile, that they don't understand because they don't know why they were considering it so young. But anyways, Serial says, yes, I agree with the freedom. I don't think being caught up in femininity and masculinity is really necessary. But the way this is going on is mostly based from issues.
Self and boy style, because that's what I do. Because these are in the boy section, and sometimes in my closet I have some girl clothes.
Claire, Daddy's gonna do a shot now.
Every Tuesday in a week, he has to take a shot. He'll sit down on the chair, and my mom will stab his leg usually, and I always do the Band-Aid.
What essentially is happening is I'm introducing testosterone into my system for it to pretty much give me a second.
Yeah, I'm not a child, I understand.
Scenario. So every week I have to keep injecting myself with the testosterone, or else my body will naturally go back and take away kind of a lot of my changes that I've worked so hard to obtain.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Now, ready, Claire? Ooh, got a bleeder.
Got a bleeder. Perfect. Thank you, sweetie.
That's a lot of blood.
That was a good one. Nice one. Thank you.
Good job,
Thank
baby.
you, baby.
Just the Thursday night ritual. Injecting ourselves with hormones.
Put this in the sharp container.
Sweet. And that's that. This is cute, the yellow lips.
That's exactly what I want.
This is me and Claire. Before I got surgery, I used to have to wear tape on my chest. This was kind of a harder time. It was hard to go out and just take off my shirt and feel really confident about my tape and such. Now, since I had the surgery, I don't have to do that.
Like seeing you without your shirt off and with your chest like this. This is just how it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I like forget times like this. Now I just look in the mirror and it seems like it's always been like that since the beginning.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I think the main uniqueness that we have is our openness of being queer and our...
Hagbert says, I get my hormones the natural way, from Purdue chicken. Dude, Hagbert, you're killing it, buddy. Patrick of Southtown just followed. Thank you so much, Patrick. I appreciate it.
Our desire to raise our child without any bounds. So you are a girl, you must be like this, or you are a boy, you must be like this. That doesn't exist in our house, and it never...
Except that it kind of does, because that's what you're doing. You are signaling what you think is masculine, what you think men do. That's why you're wearing a flannel shirt, and a hoodie, and a beanie.
Will. So we really like to make sure our child knows that however she feels to express herself, just like us.
Both of them. Like, I mean, this is masculine showing. This is feminine showing. Like, what are they talking about?
It's ever growing and ever changing, and we really encourage that exploration.
It's really special about my father that he is transgender, and all I know that he's transgender.
So she already has it in her mind that this is something you do to be special, for attention. That's what I'm saying. This identity stuff is not healthy. Yeah, they are aware of that their grounds are that you don't have to stay within the grounds everyone is at. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like we've talked about, what you've brought up before, it's environment. So they're naturally going to cater to those things. Naturally going to go in those directions.
Claire is We were really raising her just to be open, to be however she wants to be without any need for a label or identity, and that she will, in time, discover who she is, just as we have.
Okay, so Surreal says, not that masculinity and femininity don't exist. It's not that they're saying that, but she calls this daddy, this mommy. These are completely just heteronormative gender roles, except this is a trans man. That's it. That's what's going on here. This is in a very broad way, a traditional concept of the nuclear family. So they're not doing the thing that they're saying that they're doing, because it doesn't really matter what you say. Like, it's part of it is environmental. But yes, if they say flannel is for males, but then they are doing what they are going against. I'm not saying, like, this is clearly male showing. This is a trans man. They have no desire to be non-binary, in the middle, sexless, agender, whatever. No, these people are fronting a very just normal gender roles. That's what I would say. So the pomp and circumstance is a little, like, unnecessary, maybe? I guess you could say. Maybe? I don't know. Like I said, I don't even know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert either. We're just hanging out talking. Okay, so we got another video here. Free range versus strict parents. So these parents should be a great place to go after that video, just because we're already kind of on that track. So this would be the nature versus nurture argument.
As the child grows.
It's a little bit of a longer video, so this might be the one we end with, because, you know, we pause, we talk, etc., etc. Surreal says, yeah, and they are in that side of things, while others are far out, like the previous family. Sure. But that kid is not going to, but those children are going to adapt to their environment. They're not going to adapt because there's a nebulous idea of, like, what something could be out there. It's not like, yeah, it could be like that, but if you're not raised in an environment where that is a thing, you're never going to be aware of that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not good or bad. I tend to think it's probably not a healthy thing for children to have this as a preoccupation. I don't think that's probably a good thing for development, personally. But I don't know. You know, I don't know what the science is in terms of in totality behind that. I've read a lot of studies and stuff. Seems very inconclusive out there. There's not a lot of hard data. And a lot of people might have to suffer gravely to get that data, which sucks. It makes me uncomfortable in terms of children. Anyways, so this is free range versus strict parents. Is spanking your kids ever okay? So this could be interesting. So kind of on the back of what we've been discussing, hopefully this will be a provocative conversation.
As the child grows and as you as a parent train that child, then more freedom should be granted to make their own decisions.
But I don't think we should train our children. I feel like you train a dog and not a kid.
I think train is a good word.
I don't want a trained child.
Okay, well, I do.
Well, see, here's the thing, though. When that guy says training, do you think that he really means is like, you know, the grounds for success? Like, humanity has come so far. We live in the culture that we live in. There are certain parameters, paradigms, etc., that lead people to live successful lives. So when he says that, it's kind of like, it's made to look like a little like provocative here, but I don't buy like he means in the way like a dog. That's not what he's saying. But this guy's gonna get shit on in this video because this is from Jubilee.
Maryland parents are accused of child neglect after allowing their 2 kids to walk home alone from a park about a mile away.
When you hear the term free-range parent, what do you think of?
I see a wide range within free-range parenting, but parents that basically let their kids do whatever they want. And
Like what defines the, okay, well, they're defining a free range parent. I assume they're going to define a strict parent. So do they ever get to self-define?
I see that as a recipe for disaster.
When I think of a strict parent, I think of someone who might be more concerned with the behavior of the child than the heart of the child.
I actually do consider myself strict, but I want to be emotionally conscious.
We've been told by this oppressive, safety-obsessed, terrified society that you can never let your kid do anything on their own, maybe till they're like 36.
Yeah, that's not like exclusive to free range people, right? Most of the time it's just like that is like our culture and the things, and actually it has to do with the news cycle, but people being aware of the kind of what's out there and the dangers and child kidnappers and sex traffickers and all this stuff gives parents anxiety because we're inundated every day with stories about that stuff. 40, 50 years ago, people just didn't have the level of awareness. I mean, it was still going on, maybe not as prolific as it is now, but it was still going on. And kids had more freedom. I don't think that has to do with what they're talking about, but I guess we'll see. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself.
It's a luxury to be a free-range parent because there is a certain privilege that goes with that.
Being a strict parent, I think, first of all, I imagine stress. It should be a really fun time of your life. Why follow all these rules when you want to enjoy your kids?
We brought free range and strict parents together to spark a dialogue about parenting.
I am Hal Chafee. I have 5 kids.
Five
I'm a
fucking
minister.
kids.
And we
Jesus,
live in
Hal.
Maryland.
I'm Christian. I am a birth and postpartum doula as well as a newborn care specialist. I have 1 daughter who is 7.
Hi, I'm Jenny Atkins. I have 2 daughters. I'm a health coach and I wrote a children's healthy cookbook.
My name's Wynn. I live in Los Angeles. I have 1 child.
I'm glad he said that because I wouldn't have guessed. I wouldn't have guessed that his name is pronounced Wynn.
I'm a chef, restaurateur, author.
I'm Jody, and I'm the CEO of the Madden House, and I have 8 children, and I'm from LA.
Hi to everybody. I'm Lenore Skenazy. I'm the mother of 2, and I founded the book, blog, and movement Free Range.
Now, she's old enough where we could see her kids. We could see what happened. Now, that would be slippery of you, Jubilee. I know you're not going to do it, though.
Kids. Surprise. I founded the Free Range Kids movement. I let my 9-year-old ride the subway in New York City by himself. I wrote a column, and 2 days later I was on the Today Show, MSNBC, Fox News, and NPR defending my parenting style. And I started Free Range Kids that weekend as a blog to say, look, I believe in safety.
Yeah, there's not just a bunch of violent psychopaths out there in New York City subways. Great place to send a 9-year-old. Was there a time when you could do that? Probably. Would I do that now? Fuck no. Fuck no. You don't even know. Go follow the police blotter over in NYC. Tell me if you want your 9-year-old kid riding the subway by themselves. I mean, granted, maybe it was like at 10 a.m. Less chance of a altercation by a schizophrenic homeless person, but no, that's just being irresponsible. We just don't live in gentler times. Look how proud she is. She's very proud.
Safety. I just don't think that we have to, have a security detail every time we let our kids out of the house.
So can I have my free range parents on the left and my strict parents on the right?
See you later, free range parents.
Children should be trusted to make their own decisions.
So of course children should make their own decisions. I mean, we're trying to raise them to be responsible adults. If they don't make decisions, they'll never learn.
When my child is possibly going to make a bad decision, what I want to do is...
Hagbard says, I was slashed in Grand Central 23 years ago. Shit, man, I'm sorry. I'm glad you're still here, buddy.
Is not tell him it's a bad decision. I think that's the wrong thing to do because then ultimately he's probably going to reject that anyway.
Also, it depends on what we're talking about decisions about. Like if it's bedtime and you want your kids to be in bed at 8.
So there's all these fucking qualifiers now. They're like, yeah, we said we agreed with that, but actually there's all these parameters that we have set up. So you're not actually free-range parents then. If you have a time that you want your kids to go to bed, then I guess that kind of blows it up, even just on the most basic concept like that.
8 o'clock, I think that is up to you. But I remember a time my son called me, he was 10 at the time, and he said, "Mom, can I have another piece of banana bread?" And I thought, I felt bad because...
Yeah, because you must be a psycho if your son is asking you, calling you up to ask you if you can have another piece of banana bread. Then you have an unhealthy relationship with your child.
Of course, that's a very simple decision. They expected that I was the one to decide almost everything about what they were eating and doing, and I felt like there was something wrong, and that actually started me.
Like, what the fuck were you doing before that where they felt like that kind of imperative?
Reevaluating things. And can they climb the tree? Just let them climb the tree.
And what's the worst that can happen? They break an arm?
Right, yeah.
Oh, well.
Bring in the
Well,
cops.
for my kid specifically, she can go outside and play after school, and she can draw, and she can do whatever, but there is a very healthy boundary. Like, we don't have the type of health care that most people have. So, like, no, you can't climb a tree. If it's like, oh, I don't want to play violin anymore, but it's like, you're not allowed to quit things that you start, because even as an adult, you become a flaky adult.
Well, you see so many parents nowadays who just like bend to every whim of their child. Children should be trusted to make their own decisions when it is wise for them to make their own decisions. You know, I'm not going to let my 5-year-old decide that he's not going to brush his teeth anymore, because he doesn't. You know, as the child grows and as you as a parent train that child, then more freedom should be granted to make their own decisions.
But I don't think we should train our children. I feel like
It's called giving them a fucking moral framework, a foundation by which they should exist. That's what you do. That's like your entire job. It's your entire job as a parent. Thrill says, so she was nutty in the strict way and now kooky in the free range way. This woman is a paradox of extremes.
like you train a dog and not a kid.
I think train is a good word.
I don't want a trained child.
Okay, well I do.
I want a child who has
to be trained, to be
and who's
respectful.
maybe not like me.
You know, yeah, I'm not saying it has to be like me.
Do you think you need to train them to be respectful, or do you think that you guide them in a way to learn to be respectful because of the decisions they've chosen?
Both.
It's like literally semantics. That's literally semantics, because what she's getting at when you say guide a kid without saying it is that you're showing them through your behavior. How do you live your life? How do you treat other people? How do you speak to people? And when they see that, they soak all that shit in. They soak it up. So it's like, this is like, she's just being aggressive with this guy because he's being straightforward. She just doesn't want to use the word trained.
So what would you consider your parenting style to be?
I try to be as biblical as I can when it comes to parenting. I know a lot of people would disagree on that, but I have 5 kids and I do my best to follow it, and I found so much wisdom in its work.
Only God lets you dump enough cum to have 5 kids, so he's indebted. He's like, I never would have got laid.
I don't really follow rules. Even if it's a theory of free-range parenting per se, if you're following those free-range parenting rules, then you become strict. And I don't think...
Oh, she is something else, dude. She's just like won't cop to anything. She just has no, it's just nothing. Even though I am free range, but I'm not free range. And even though I don't believe in training, but I believe in behavioral augmentation and being a good example.
that there should be rules. It should be whatever the day brings.
Kids deserve privacy.
Wait, I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wait,
There
wait,
we
wait,
go.
wait.
Oh wait, we have a straggler.
Even though they're not adults, they're still people, and they need time to either hear their thoughts or process things, or just they need a sense
Still
of
breastfeeding
comfort
an
and
8-year-old.
solitude and things that are are sacred to
He wasn't
them.
ready yet, Hagrid. He wasn't ready to let go of the nip.
There's no way.
Just wait.
There's no way.
Maybe my opinion will change.
I mean, there's no way that I'm not going to have access to their cell phone. That's not going to happen. But if they want time alone, I think that's fine, and they should have that, and it's healthy to do that. The reason I hesitated is because I think back to my childhood. There were things that happened sometimes that can last with you for the rest of your life. You know, people can be abused online now. So when I have that parent spidey sense of something's not right here, and my kid's gonna be like, no, you can't have my cell phone. Yes, I can.
In our household, we live by this kind of thought. Live your life in such a way that if everyone could see what you're doing in private, that you wouldn't be ashamed. So you can,
Hey, kids gotta jerk off, man. You know, you gotta crank one out every once in a while. Like, I don't want everybody to see that. If people were to watch me, maybe I would feel ashamed.
my kids also look through my phone. Privacy is not something a child should be entitled to have. Do we give our kids quiet downtime? Yes. Am I looking through all their stuff? No.
I actually agree.
So how, on the one hand, can she be a free-range parent and then have that policy? Seems a little contradictory, I guess.
With the definition of downtime and privacy. At my house, there's no privacy because you don't pay any bills. She also trusts me, and I've wanted to make a relationship to where she trusts me that even if she came to tell me, like, there's no yell, I don't yell and I don't scream and I don't do any things like that. We're very open, but there is no privacy.
So I just wanted to put in a plea, though, for some privacy. You know, I go around and I talk about free-range kids, and sometimes what I ask the audience is to tell me when something did go wrong. And I asked them, did you tell your parents? What do you think they said?
No.
Why do you think they said it?
Fear.
Fear of what?
Being in trouble,
You think it's trouble. They said they didn't want their freedom taken away.
I think it's important, though, that we help.
Which is exactly the same fucking thing. Being in trouble and having your freedom taken away is the same thing. Holy shit. Come on, people. Like, you're a bunch of adults having a conversation. Please don't be such a fucking idiot. Like this person, this little old lady. Where is she? Where's my girl? This little old lady here with her 9-year-olds on the subway doesn't understand that getting in trouble and having your freedoms revoked is the same thing. She's a professional mommy blogger.
Being in trouble,
You think it's trouble. They said they didn't want their freedom taken away.
I mean, like, what? Like, seriously. This lady over here, what a saint. How do you not just walk up to that woman and slap her? Fuck that lady. What a fucking jamoke.
I think it's important, though, that we hold our children accountable, because in the world, there are plenty of adults who are not held accountable, who've never been held accountable, and they just do things that are terrible.
But most of childhood is little things, and you don't have to be there for everyone, because that's when kids start realizing, I can handle this.
When you hear the term free-range parent, what do you think of?
Privilege, the ability to just do things without any
white
repercussions or consequences. As a Black person or a person of color, we sometimes just don't have the privilege to allow our children to be free range. Although I would love for her to be free spirited and just do and be, she can't, because Black kids get murdered in the street.
Parents should be parents and not friends.
Ooh.
No, this is actually hard for me.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's accurate. Doesn't mean you can't have a good relationship with your child, but you're not their fucking buddy. You don't want to be their buddy. What do you want to be, the kind of parents out there fucking drinking beer and fucking smoking cigarettes, sparking a doobie with your fucking kids? No, don't be that guy. Don't ever be that guy. Don't ever be that girl. You got to have a separation. It's okay to let them experience things without you, and you should be excited to experience things without them.
For me, my job is not to be my kid's friend, it's to be their parent. But I don't think that is mutually exclusive of not being their friend either, if that makes any sense. But I prioritize, right, being the parental unit.
Me and my mom, I would say that she's my best friend. But like as a child, she was my mom.
Yeah, as it goes along. Like when you're an adult, like you can develop very strong kind of friendships, I think, with your parents. And I've always had good, like, and this is coming from a person, I always had pretty decent relationships with my parents. Some contention there, like, you know, my dad and I were very similar. So there was definitely problems, there was definitely tensions, but I never felt like they were like, quote unquote, my friend until a couple years ago, like when I had my own son. Like my mom kind of became more of my friend. Like I understand her on a deeper, more adult level. We have more like, points of reference. I've lived long enough because she had me that like now I've caught up at least to a little bit of her life experience, you know?
And I hope to have that type of relationship with my daughter. But right now, I'm the parent and you're the child because I don't want you to lose respect for me. Like, I'm not going to go clubbing with my daughter. Like, there's just some things that I'm just not going to do that I do with my friends that I'm not going to do with my kid.
I agree that I'm their mom first, but I'm also their friend. I'm also someone that they trust and admire and they come to, and I listen to them and I give them my opinions, and we...
What the fuck does that have to do with being their friend? You can still cultivate that kind of environment, that kind of home, without thinking you're their friend. It's a weird, it's semantics. It really is semantics. A lot of what these people are talking about is semantics, and there's not a lot of hard lines here.
Have forged a friendship, but it's not without my position as the authority in their life, their provider, their comfort.
Oh, no shit. So you're not actually their friend. You're their friend because they have to live with you.
Mama.
In my mind, once my kids are 18 or let's just say moved out of the house, they are an adult. And at that point, I want to stop parenting. If I haven't parented enough by the time they're 18, then that was my chance.
You're an idiot if you think that people beyond the age of 18 do not need guidance, mentorship. Honestly, it's more important as the older you get than it is almost when you're a child. It's all important. I take that back. It's all important. But it is just as important when you're older. Having somebody to talk to, having somebody that understands where you're coming from, etc., etc. Adults for adults is a thing. You need that in your life. Everybody does. It makes your life a lot easier if you have it.
I don't want to be a parent after 18. And when it comes to clubbing, I hope that when my kid is old and grown up and they're going out for a beer at a bar or whatever they're doing, of course I want to come with them.
But here's the thing, I just want to say on the other side of that is that we never stop growing up. I mean, man, I don't have parents. I wish I did. There's some times where I wish I could just ask for help. I mean, my grandmother just passed away in May.
See?
And I remember like
I said,
just feeling like, what am I gonna do? And that was not a friend moment. That was me hiding like a little child on her lap, weeping and crying and needing that.
You
I guess
you
I
are
don't
going
want
to do
that.
No, you're going to do that.
If
your kid comes to you, I'm sure you will.
Of course. I guess I just want this.
Right.
Yeah, you're a fucking idiot who doesn't know what they're talking about. And they can't even imagine contextually what they're fucking talking about. Like, that's crazy. How could you even argue with that at all? And this is what I was kind of getting at. She elucidated it perfectly. It's information, it's emotional need. You'll never stop needing somebody in your life that knows better than you. Somebody that can give you a little comfort, a little respite from kind of traumatic situations. If you're lucky enough to have that in your life, it can be a great thing for people.
I want them to be very independent.
Right. But you can
strong.
be very independent.
Not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, for sure.
With your own mother, do you have a mother? And if you do, do you ever just need your mama sometimes? Do you ever
Not really.
You don't need to
No.
get hugged or have
I speak to her like
comfort?
she's my friend.
Okay.
now. And I think I spoke to her as my friend when I was growing up as well, because she didn't parent. I had no rules.
And that explains a lot. When you talk about your philosophy, it's really a first-hand account where maybe some of the rest of us are like exploring how we might want to parent.
Right, but we all raise our children probably according to a little bit of how we were raised.
What we know, what we wished had been different,
Yeah.
and then there's so many societal influences.
Sure.
You mentioned before you were kind of facing everything on your own, that you didn't have parents to kind of guide you. How do you think that has shaped the way that you parent?
Growing up without the security of knowing who I was and knowing that I was dearly loved and cherished by my mother and father was soul-crushing for me. As a mother, I have the opportunity to raise up a new generation of healthy, whole individuals who are able to go forth and create new families of their own and be a light in this world. And that's really what my hope is with my children.
Spanking your child is an acceptable form of punishment.
Oh, just the
I don't want to
cracker.
get involved at all.
Yeah, this is not.
Do we have to?
We don't have to do it at all.
I don't even want to
I'm still
stand
thinking.
back here.
Well, we don't have to, you guys don't have to participate in the conversation whatsoever.
Then what the fuck is the point of this then? Like, you can't just be like, oh, he has an opinion on it. Now we don't want to talk about it. That'd be the whole point, even if it's just to go and yell at the dude.
But is it going to show our position, like standing back or sitting?
We do see you guys in the background, but we just want to hear his.
Oh, so they don't want to engage with the question. So some of them are hitters. I tell you what, that lady Christian, she's a hitter.
His perspective, then people can walk forward. But if you don't want to participate in the conversation whatsoever, you don't have to.
Well, yeah, so I'm kind of saddened that nobody else walked forward, because not only do I think it's an acceptable form of punishment, but I think it's one of the best. And the reason is because it's effective, it's quick, it's over, it's done, and the kid can go off and play again and not have to sit in a corner or languish in a room or something like that. And it's not about getting angry, I'm mad, I'm gonna whack my kid. No, it's about, okay, you did something you weren't supposed to do, and you're going to get spanked for this.
Now, the only time, because we try to at our house here with our child, we're not a spanking family. But you have to augment things as you go along. So we have a very rambunctious little boy, about almost 4 years old, and he sometimes doesn't understand, like, you can't be rough, or you can't just hit somebody, you can't just punch somebody in the face, things like that, which is, part of being a parent, is also the things he watches, whatever. Like, so there's all these different layers of trying to kind of communicate that to your kid, like, oh, you can't do that. Like, but if they keep doing it and they keep thinking it's funny, they keep thinking it's the game, you got to give them a little pop, just so they know what violence is. So when you hit a person, you know that there is a feeling that is connected to that, because they don't know any better. They exist in a vacuum. And sometimes you got to do that. And it's not often at all, but like every once in a while you got to be like, yo. And I grew up as a kid. When I grew up, like, I got spanked. I got spanked probably not too long, but definitely my parents were of corporeal punishment. Definitely got spanked. I had things thrown at me. The last time I ever got any corporal punishment was my dad actually fucking slugged me when I was like 15, maybe 14. I think I told him to shut up. And then I was never touched again. So there you go.
So I'm going to ask any of my disagreeers who wish to step forward to talk about this. Please do. If you wish not to step forward, you don't have to.
Look at these soldiers in the back. Nothing to say.
The specific anecdote I have is for my child is one time, like, as a parent, you can lose your patience, and that happens. we would just kind of like slap him on the hand when he did something, like, don't do that, don't do that. And I remember one time he did something and he started becoming more
Yes, Hagbert, I tried to take on the pole and definitely got the horns, yeah.
self-aware, and he started hitting himself on the hand and hitting himself. And I was like, I can't do this. We can't go down this path with him.
You know, I've had a similar experience with my own son in terms of like when you're like, hey, don't do that. And you kind of give him a slap on the hand a little bit, just a little light thing. He did do that. And it definitely dissuaded me from wanting to do that or feeling that it was appropriate. You know, it's so hard to find that balance. It's so hard. So hard.
This is not going to work for, at least specifically for him. And I think it's a case-by-case basis too. Like, you know, you've led your kids in a way that hopefully he doesn't lash out into the real world. I don't want him to react like that to someone else either. And I just feel like that's my responsibility. So.
Yeah, and you know, I hear that opponents to spanking will say, I don't want my child to be violent.
Yeah.
You know, I have 5 kids, 10 and under, and the exact opposite is true.
Because do you think it's a bad memory for them?
What's that?
Do you think that they're going to have memories of these times being spanked and that it will be
sure, and I think they'll be thankful for it. I would do, because I
would be lying if I said I never have spanked my child. Of course but I don't feel good about it. Yeah. Don't you want to raise your child to not want to?
So this asshole wants to have it fucking both ways. Now I won't say that, like, I won't stand up and say that I spanked my child, but I do spank my child. I just don't feel good about it. Nobody feels good about doing anything like that. They don't. That's your flesh and blood. That's your fucking kid. You don't like doing it. You don't. It is not a good feeling. It is not a good feeling of being a fucking parent sometimes. But you do your best. You try to think about what is best for them. Like, what are they going to fucking get out of this experience? Like, I don't want to raise a psycho, you know?
Do things because they feel as if they'll be a better person, not because they're going to be punished for it?
Yeah, both. See, this is hard for me.
Yeah, exactly. See, this is the thing. It is both. Like, and like I said, I'm not a spanker. Like, we don't spank really in the house. It's not a normal course of action. But the most important thing you can do is make sure that your kid, no matter how young they are, try to get them to articulate what is happening. What did they do something wrong? Why did they do something wrong? How do we feel about that? Etc., etc. It's a long, drawn-out process. It is. It's fucking annoying. Right? If we're being honest, it's a protracted, aggravating experience, but it's worthy, and it's something that we all should do if you have kids. I'm just saying.
To understand, because I come from a culture where everyone, like all my friends, have loving parents that spank them as kids, and now they've grown up to be great well-functional adults who respect their parents and are glad their parents spanked them.
Okay, I'm just gonna say my view.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't spank my child, one, because of chattel slavery and Jim Crow. Mm-hmm. I'm a black person.
Holy shit, really? Seriously? Seriously, lady? Come on.
And I live in a world where black people are beaten all the time. I have a mother who spanked me. I don't.
Like, she's like nodding. She's like, yeah, of course.
I'm not glad that I was spanked. I respect her, but I'm not happy about that. Also, the same thing with the people who are like, I was spanked, I came out great. They usually have like anger issues. They're violent. They whip their own kids. They probably need therapy. Usually,
no, lady, that's your community that you just project on everybody. And I say this as a non-spanker, but it's very clear.
Don't even realize how emotionally fucked up they are.
Well, you got to understand, parenting is more than just I spank or I don't spank. If you're a terrible parent and you think that spanking is going to fix your kid, you're wrong.
Yeah, I would have loved to hear the rest of that conversation, because that dude is dead fucking right. Dead right. Like, if you think that good parenting comes down to doing it or not doing that, no, you're obviously fucking wrong. And what I get, just like, you know, that dude does not like beat the fuck out of his kids. And they kind of try to frame it that way. It's like kind of frustrating. It's a little fucking irritating.
Sometimes fear I am raising my children the wrong way.
I think part of parenting is always worrying.
He could have got killed on that bus.
I mean, as hard as I try to do the right thing.
Oh, thank you,
You know,
Mr.
there's
Paul.
always doubts in your mind that
Thank you
you've
for the
done
lemon,
something
sir.
wrong.
I love to tell parents, especially new ones, that we're all winging it. We're making mistakes every day, but the good thing about it is that our kids still love us. They still look at us like mommy, and their
Or
eyes
friend.
are
right. Club buddy.
2 ice cream motherfuckers. Too much. Too much.
So like parenting is literally just like one huge ass experiment.
That's a nice expression.
You know,
parenting is one huge ass experiment. Right. People think that I have the answer because I wrote Free Range Kids and I run.
Shut up, you dumb cracker. Listen, this lady is like a fucking nobody. I wrote Free Range Kids. I let my kids ride the subway when they were 9. Like that's her fucking. That's what she has to offer.
This let grow, and all I can say is that believing in your kids, you know, believing in them, whether you give them a timeout or you're spanking them, believing that your kids have this capacity for being a decent human being, and they're going to make mistakes, they're going to be okay.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you, Big Paul. Thank you. We're just a few lemons away from a new expensive bottle of whiskey.
That's what kids want.
So first of all, I think that parents are too hard on themselves, and you know what? Ultimately, your children are going to make their own decisions. For me, I don't wonder about whether or not I'm raising my kids right, because I try to raise my kids according to what the Bible says, and so I have a guide that I fall short fulfilling all the time, but I look to it as my guide. And so just a few simple guidelines, if you follow,
I bet you
love
do.
your kids, you care about them, and you spend time with them, then ultimately they're going to be okay.
I just love my kids so much, and I give them 110%. One of the neat things that I'm giving my kids that's a little bit different is a mother and father who are married and faithful to one another, which I didn't have that. And so it makes me feel really good that I'm giving them that. I know that I'll never just be totally set in my ways and be unwilling to change and to become a better mother. So I will never give up growing myself.
The one piece of parenting advice I give everyone is don't listen to all the advice, because the beautiful thing about parenting is not what you're teaching your child, but sometimes what you're learning with your child.
I think
that's an accurate statement. It's not about having a hard line plan. You kind of have to augment everything to the person. This is a human being you're dealing with. Trust me, it gets squirrely out there. Being a parent is difficult work, fulfilling, but difficult work.
I think we all just want the same things. Everybody wants their children to be confident and secure in their love.
It's just a lot of fun to have kids.
That's why I had 5.
I always tell people, I said, if you want to be a happier person, have more kids, because kids are just so much fun.
They're like trying to keep away from that Christian dude. They're like, no, you're fucking, no, dude, not you. All right, well, that's going to be the last video of the night, but we're not done, well, kind of the last video. So, I am a big supporter of independent art, independent film, etc., etc. I want to show a trailer for this movie that's looking for funding. They're trying to finish their film. They have about 8 days left on their PayPal thing. We're going to check out the trailer. I'm going to show you where you can go donate if you are so inclined. And yeah. And this is not a paid for ad. I don't really know these people. I talk to them occasionally on like Twitter and stuff, but I don't know them. I just like people that buck the trends and do their own thing. Honestly. So let's check this trailer out, and then I'll show you the rest.
There's the playground, and right off here in the Charles River, a man's body was found partially submerged along the riverbank.
There's a series of nasty coincidences. Money's pretty good that it's a part of something you're not supposed to understand. The day of the serial killer. ended before cable television entered its adolescence. And if we got a killer out there and he's not being caught, it's probably because someone doesn't want him to be caught.
There's something about these boys that is communicating to him that they want to be murdered.
Sure this is gonna work?
My brain tells me no, but my heart also says no. You can be honest with me. If you get your rocks off, if it makes your prick twitch to see a college student die in front of your very eyes, like a sick fuck, I'm not gonna judge you for that. We all have our kinks. Mine, I'm not gonna go into that.
Well, there you go. There you go. So there's the trailer. And now we're gonna let's pop up the old oh shit. What's going on here? What's going on here? Just disappeared. Well, here's where you can go donate. Just look up Mass State Lottery, Low Res Wonder Bread, right here. If you want to donate any cashola to them, I've given $30 myself. I just like independent cinema. I like people going out there doing their own things, creating their own stuff. And Low Res Wonder Bread, you can go if you like what he puts out in general. He does it. There's a sketch comedy show, kind of this abstract sketch comedy show, a lot like $1 Million Extreme, etc. Definitely tips his hat to that. The Heir Apparent. I would say go check that out. And you can find Mass State Lottery. Just throw them a couple bucks. They're just trying to finish their movie, and I respect and appreciate that. But yeah, everybody, I think that's gonna do it for the night. For the night caps. For the night whatever. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you, Hagbird. Thank you, Surreal Paradox, a new viewer. Thanks to everybody that followed tonight. And we'll see you next time on the other side.